name's Jordon Bill, and this is Loren Bill from Treadway and Treadway Equipped. Now, we just wanted to get in touch with our customers and have a talk around what we've done at Treadway and what we've found really useful at these times. Now, as you know, Treadway is here for the journey, and we've been here for 53 years now, and so we have a solid relationship with a lot of our suppliers and fantastic staff. But we just wanted to communicate with leaders and owners and also employees around some tips that we've done, some things that we've tried, and what we've found that has really worked here at Treadway around leadership and also things you can do to help your employees. Now, Loren was just going to run over a few of the key things that we've done and some key takeaways from a leadership perspective.
Thank you, Jordan. Yes, I suppose from a leadership point of view, there perhaps hasn't been a time as critical. Definitely in our generation, possibly even back to World War II. And the most important thing is that we give our teams confidence. We must assure them. It's not that we necessarily sugarcoat it. We do have to state things as they are, but we must be positive, and we must project our confidence in our plans and in our people and what we're going to do. It's very important that we lead from the front as well. So one of the things that we did as a Treadway management and at a director and management level, we got together first and committed to reductions ourselves in our salaries, so that when we were speaking with the team about how we could reduce the company's costs, it gave us that, perhaps that moral authority and respect that helped us to bring the team along with us, and include your team. Some of the best ideas that came out of our discussions were from team members. They have to do with the areas the most, and they can have some very good ideas on how to make things more cost effective, more efficient, and to get the most out of each other. So it's very important that as leaders and managers we stay positive and project confidence, but at the same time we must lead from the front, and we must show a suitable level of humility and compassion in times like this, because it is anxious for everybody, especially for our employees. So it is important that we combine that confidence with humility and compassion. So that was just some of the things, Jordan, around that we've experienced around leadership, that we'd from advice that we've been given.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can't stress the point more that include the whole team. Like Loren said, share your P&L with them. Sit down, print it off, and say, look, this is where we're at. I'll highly recommend that every company should be looking to cut its expenses anywhere from 20 to 30%, its overheads. So it does mean hard decisions need to be made, but if the team are in on it and go through it with you, they come up with some fantastic ideas. And it also gets the creativity flowing around how can we sell, what can we sell, different products, different markets as well. You get some awesome feedback, and I think you get that buy-in, and that is essential to be able to act fast. You need company-wide buy-in. And I think at this time it is what a lot of they use in military. They call it a VUCA term, and it's volatile, uncertain, ambiguous, and so you need to be able to move very quickly as a team and as a company. And you can only do that if the communication's flowing freely, the employees have confidence in their leaders and managers, and so they feel free to communicate fast, action things straight away, because you've got to be decisive. Yes, some hard decisions are going to have to be made, and that's unfortunate fact of staying alive and as a company. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be positive, and that's all I can say. You've got to bring all the employees along with the journey. So that's when we say we're here for the journey. We're here for our employees' journey just as much as we're here for your journey. and I couldn't stress that enough. And
Yeah, that's good. And what you mentioned about communication, in times like this, we need to make sure that we're doing even more. In a general working environment, you may say your company communication is good. But at times like these, especially when you've got all your staff working remotely, over communicate. You can't, in a certain sense, you can't really communicate enough, and not just email. Let them see your face. So I know as a company we've been using Zoom a lot, and WhatsApp. So a lot of WhatsApp video calls and a lot of Zoom meetings. We start off as a team together every morning. Everyone logs in. We see everyone's face. We share some experiences from the day before and what our plans are for the day ahead. And we try and leave that running during the day. Obviously, people come and go from the screen, but don't be afraid as a leader to make yourself, in a certain sense, you've got to make yourself more relatable at a time like this to help your team. So don't just rely on email, please. Let them see your face, and don't be. And perhaps we may need to be a little more relatable than we have been normally.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nature hates a vacuum. If there's a vacuum, it will be filled with something, and most likely at a time like this, it's going to be filled with anxiety, doubt, and all these other emotions that we just really can't afford at the moment. And people are anxious, so it's up to us. We owe it to them. They've got families. They've got our customers. Yourselves got families and people that rely on you, and it's now needed more than ever to be able to really bring people along for the journey. So that probably leads us into a little bit of a discussion we want to have also around employees. So have one-on-ones with them, depending on the size of your company. You can cascade that down throughout the company so their managers are having one-on-ones. But I'd highly recommend try and have, as a manager or leader in the company, try and have one-on-ones with as many people as you can, and be talking to them. Give them templates on how to budget. Train them on budgeting. I'd be talking to them about seeing if they can go through their living expenses and try. I mean, everyone's got fixed costs, yes, but they should be going through their living expenses and try and reduce those by 35 to 40%. And that's what we've done as managers. And we've also gone through and explained this principle and had a chat to our staff as well. And you never know. Some of them are happy to sit down and actually show you and ask for help. And it's going to make a massive difference in days to come. We're going to have to start living more frugally. And I think that's a big difference. Also, make sure they're getting accurate information. Cannot have employees relying on social media and just general media sites. Give them links. We'll provide you some links that you can pass on to them with relations to government websites and that people that have accurate information, because there's so much hype around, and now is not the time for hype. Now's the time for action and calmness. Do you have some more say on that, Byron?
Yeah, I totally agree. Our employees' well-beings at the moment are critical, and obviously, not every company will be able to continue employing every staff member. That's just an unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in, and to a certain degree, there's not much we can do about it. But I think the key thing, what we went over earlier, is the faster we act in reducing our costs as a company, the more likely we'll be able to retain some of that talent, and see them through, and make sure you're taking advantage of the government wage subsidies. Do your homework on that. If you haven't already logged in and submitted something, do it today. Get on there and figure out how you can help subsidise your employees. Take advantage of it to help you keep hold of that talent that you've got in your team. And I know already from the discussions that we've had with our team members, from the time that we've put into them through this process, we're absolutely assured that coming out the other side, we're going to have a team that's far more unified, far more focused, and far more efficient and effective than I think we've probably ever been as a team. So that'd be fair
No,
to say.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
The buy-in, if you can do things for people now, now's more the time than ever to step up, and they'll remember it forever. And I think they'll remember it one way or another. So it's on us to make sure that we've done everything we can.
That's good, and I think that probably covers most of the points. But there was an interesting story that came back to us from a number of years ago that we heard about some long distance rowing teams.
Yes, yeah.
And it was over a number of days, and during the race, there was one of the nights there was quite a violent storm, and these two boats, I think it was down to two boats that were quite far out in the lead, and one kept going through the night and battled the waves and the wind and everything that was against them, and the other team put out a sea anchor and just sat tight. And in the morning, the team that had kept going during the night, they did their calculations and they realised they were in the same place as they were the night before, and they were a bit disheartened. But they kept on, and the team that had put the sea anchor down, they'd drifted back. Well, fast forward to the end of the race, and the team that had kept going through the night, they won, but the distance and the time frame they won by was virtually exactly the same as that distance that they had held their ground that night in that storm. So we liken that to our business. It's going to be tough, and we won't probably necessarily make the progress we want to, but hold your ground and do everything you can to keep your key staff. Make use of every government support you can, and just as we're assured, and I'm sure that you will prove the same thing, that we can come through this together, and our companies will be leaner and sharper out the other end.
Yeah, I think that's good. It reminds me of something I got told from a business mentor just this morning. He said, "Don't think that you're on a 4-week government paid holiday. This next 4 weeks will determine what your company is. You've got to work absolutely harder than you've ever worked before." And I thought that was fantastic. We don't want to think that, okay, we're getting the 585 from the government and we're going on holiday. Now's the time to take big, massive action. And I think it comes back to having the mindset that you have, having a growth mindset. Do some research on it, look up some tools about your mindset, and share it with, that's another thing to definitely share with your employees as well, around mindset, and also circles of concern. So worry about the things we can control. Look after the things we can control. Like the rowing team that you gave, I think that's a fantastic story. They could paddle. That's what they could do. They couldn't control the storm, but they could row. And so work out what you can do. You can't control the virus. You can listen to the government, do everything that you're told with isolation, but we can't really control a lot of these things. But there are certain things in our company that we can do and can control. And I think that's really what we've just got to focus on.
That's good. And I think that's pretty much all we had to discuss. So the key thing is obviously, above all, is stay safe and stay well. And we look forward to seeing you all again face to face at some point. So all the best from the team at Treadway.
Thank you. Thank you very much.